Aloha, friends, and welcome to another episode of Grounding Ascension. This one's a little bit different. It is a recording from Instagram Live about the upcoming 60-day challenge of Mu, Barre, and Temple. So, if you're interested in knowing more about the higher levels and aspects of what Mu Barre is about, definitely tune in. So, I just finished a workout and I thought this would be a perfect time to come on and talk about the 60-day challenge and explain into further detail what it actually is, because I'm understanding it more and more every single day with every workout that I do, and I want to emit the right message about what this challenge is really about. Okay, so the 60-day cycle synced wellness challenge is not a challenge where we are forcing ourselves to work out and lose X amount of fat or weight for 60 days. This is not, that's just like a completely old paradigm that I'm just no longer living by, and I don't want to even share that with anyone anymore. So the whole point of the 60-day cycle synced challenge is, one, understand your cycle. So if you are a woman, if you have a womb and you are interested in understanding what is happening in your body, to then be able to have a sustainable movement and wellness lifestyle, meaning like you are holistically creating a foundation for a healthy lifestyle, then this is something that you may want to consider. Yeah. So one is getting to know your cycle first and foremost, because that's going to basically create the foundation for a sustainable, holistic, long-term platform for your life. Like, you are no longer needing to work out the old way that we used to work out. So this is about really shifting away from the old paradigm of, I'm not okay with my body, I'm not okay with my hormones right now, and I need to work out excessively and angry and restrict myself of calories and foods and all these things that we have done as women. Like, I'm just not into that anymore. So the whole point of this, really of the platform of Mu, Barre, and Temple, but this challenge is to get that started, to get that platform going, is can we start to create a healthy foundational place from which we treat our bodies, and then of course move, right? Because movement is, so this is where like the whole Mu and Temple part come in. Okay, so understanding that we move because it is absolutely necessary to create a balance between the above and the below, the within and the without, right? So a little bit about my background, and some of you, it's funny because like I feel like there's new people around here, and then there's also like oldies that know me, and I've had like different, I almost feel like it's just different lifetimes all coming in together at once. But back in the day, I was a full-time fitness educator, instructor, full-blown, like that's all I did, fitness. And then throughout that process, I had a massive spiritual awakening. So the reason why I share that is that for a long time, I was really in my body. Like, I grew up just moving, just moving. I was highly physical, dancer, professional fitness instructor. And then I had a spiritual awakening. So that took me completely out of my body. And this is where what fascinates me, which is what is arising now as everything is grounding and merging together, like the ascended rose path, the quantum part of bringing the above and the below together through movement. Okay, so like, how are we merging our spirit body, like all of these things that are coming in at this time, how are we grounding them? And I've had like amazing conversations with women the last few days, and I'm finding the same thing, that because we are in such freaking quantum energetic leaps of time, we are accelerating in different ways, right? We all have our own destinies. We all have our own fate. So we all have these different things that we're supposed to be tapping into or kind of bringing in and grounding into our bodies. The problem is that if we are not in our bodies, which is where I was through my spiritual process, awakening, whatever you want to call it, we can't ground it. So you can have all these incredible, amazing experiences and understandings and memories, but then if you are having a hard time grounding it, living it, being it, and then really anchoring in to your life, that is a huge sign that you are not clicking in the physical and the spiritual, the above and below, the within and without. This has been, for me, one of my biggest challenges is understanding, like, bridging these two worlds. And so through Barre Temple, through this challenge, through fitness and movement, now I'm understanding like why my background of an entire lifetime of movement is then now merging with a spiritual thing, concept, process, awakening, activation, right? It's like, how do you bring those two together? Because from what I see is that they're different lives. Like people, and these are general assumptions, and this is from my experience. So when I was, highly on that out of body experience, yeah, it seems spiritual, but it's not. It's just not grounded. And how spiritual is this process if we're not in our bodies? Like, we have to understand that our bodies, this is the avatar. Here, now, our hearts, our wombs, our minds. Like, if we don't have this aligned, then we can't ground anything. We can't be anything. And so this is what the 60-day challenge is about. Like, can we start to, as women, understand our inner cycles and create a healthier lifestyle around that, understand our hormones? And when we do that, it's like you can't bypass that process either. You can't just say that you're living a healthy lifestyle, working out every day or moving, and then not have any understanding of what your body is going through on a daily basis, right? Yeah, honoring our whole journey, like honoring that there is this quantum aspect of us that is so multidimensional that we can't even fathom. And yet, if we don't take care of this right here, it's never grounding. Like the whole merging, the alchemy, it's happening within us. And so I have found that when I stopped movement, because through my spiritual awakening, like I couldn't move. I was out of my body. I didn't have the strength. I didn't have the ability to show up for myself physically. And so I lost that. I was completely ungrounded. I was completely out of body for a very long time. And now just landing in Hawaii, landing on this ground that just really forces you to get real about everything that's in your life, everything is coming together. Like, how are we going to be the new, right? Whether that for you is like stepping into your destiny or creating the new earth or whatever that looks like for you, how are you going to ground it and make it practical? So for me, it's movement. If I move every day, specifically with resistance training, and this is where the Barre aspect comes into place, yeah, resistance training for me is key. And I say that for me because I know that a lot of people are like huge yoga fans. And I'm a big yoga fan too. I love it. I'm yoga certified. And yet yoga is what got me out of body. Like legit, completely out of body. Because yoga was developed to get you out of body. Like yoga was developed for young boys thousands of years ago to get out of body. And so now we're moving into a whole new age, right? Where it's like, we need to go in. We need to accept this earthly realm and be as humanly in our bodies as possible. And the only way we're going to do that is through strength training, through movement, through sweating. And like, that's a whole nother aspect of this movement of like showing up sustainably in a healthy way according to your hormones, right? Like understanding that each part of your inner cycle brings forth different things. So if you're one of these people that are like, I have to work out every single day the same way, I'm going to eat the same way for 40 days and see what happens. It's like on day 45, you're going to burn out, fatigue, exhaust your body, and then you're out for 2 weeks. What was the point of that? So the idea is sustainability is understanding where am I right now in my body? My hormones in springtime are different than inner fall, different than menses, different than ovulation. So the way that we're taught to move and eat and live and work out is, as women, that we're always ovulating. So we should always be on a high. We should always be like high impact, go all the way. And that's not sustainable, right? So then all of these other things happen. So the idea of this challenge is, let's support each other. You know, you have this guidance. I am a holistic nutritionist. That is one of my things that I studied in school. And let's bring holistic nutrition, conscious awareness about our health, our well-being, and how do we merge everything that's coming in at this time. So also understanding that our bodies hold the wisdom. Like it's nice to meditate and to have these out-of-body experiences and to do and take things that perhaps help you access certain realms. And you know what I'm talking about. If you know, and if you don't, it doesn't matter. But the point is, like, it's all in your body and you should be able to access it completely naturally. And you will, and you are, if you honor your body, if you sustainably take care of your body day to day. So the profound shifts that happen when we detoxify our bodies, right? This is why I'm so big on fasting, but you don't have to fast. You could do it in different ways. If you show up for your body every single day and move and eat healthy and take care of your mental body and sink in to the bigger cycles of your body, of earth, then these things are going to unfold like books of wisdom within you. It's just what happens. Like we are quantumly entrained to be able to access and navigate certain things and certain dimensions and so much information, you know. And yet, if we do not honor our bodies, if we don't rewrite our cellular programs and unbundle all of this crap DNA and belief systems and ancestral wounds and all of these things that have been passed down to us, and they live inside of us, they are living thought forms and energy fields inside every single one of our trillions of cells, then you can't get out of whatever situation it is that you're in. I hope I'm making sense. So it's like the 60-day challenge is so much more than fitness, you know? Yay! Yes. And I'm so excited because it's so much deeper. It's really understanding, like, we are weaving the mysteries of the divine feminine into our daily lives. You know, it doesn't have to be this just like this out of body, out of reality. And this is what I'm saying, like the energy that's coming in, it's so strong, it's so powerful that it really almost pulls you out sometimes, or it overdoes. I'm also finding that the higher energy centers, the higher chakras, the crown, the third eye, even the throat, because it's so amplified at this time with all the energy that's going on, it's really important that we hone in and figure out what's our value, like what are our values, what is the priority, and how do we make this thing simple and anchored in, and anchored into our body, anchored into our wisdom. And from my experience, what I have found is that when we anchor into our wombs as women, when we anchor into the divine feminine, again, these books of wisdom, they're different for all of us, and yet they're all one. They will unravel and they will open themselves to you. So it's so exciting to be able to bring this all together. And yes, it's a fitness challenge at the end of the day. Like, you will receive, it's 2 months, you receive 4 cycle synced workouts per month. Yeah. So I will teach you the day you register, exactly how to figure out where are you in your cycle. If you're like, I don't know what that means, don't worry about it. That's the whole point of this process, right? And so you get to start working out exactly where you are right now hormonally. And then you'll have weekly guided meditations, bi-weekly calls, support, and a Facebook group to keep you accountable and support you through the whole process. But really understand that this is so much more than fitness. Like, this platform, this membership, this new way of moving through the world as an anchored divine feminine quantum ascended rose path goddess, like whatever it is that you want to call it, we have to get to the basics. And if we're not taking care of our bodies and our minds and the way that we eat and the way that our hormones are moving in our bodies, we can't ground it. We can't do it. Another thing that I find really, really interesting is the mechanics of our bodies. So like, and this is like, I love this shit because this is what I lived, and now I understand why I lived it and why I taught it for so long. But like, our spine is the column of ascension in our bodies. It is what many, many ancient cultures regard as the keeper and the holders. Like the spine is what holds, like depending on what lineage you read, it can hold between 6 to 11 generational lines of information, karma, ancestral wounds, programming, belief systems. Like your body is not just your body from this living lifetime, guys. Your body holds 6 to 11 life generations. Does that make sense? So like going back, and it is our job now to move through all of that. And if you don't have a good connection between the cranial, like the base of the skull, right, and the third eye and all of this stuff that's happening through the mind and the crown chakra, and if you, that fluid that's supposed to run up and down the spine into the pelvis, into the tailbone, and really anchor in through the lower chakras and like have this balanced energetic field of congruency, then that kundalini Shakti force that we talk about, it just cannot happen because you are not grounded. And this is why you see people oftentimes like really just out there because they're not grounded in their bodies, right? So that's the whole point, like really coming back to the basics of we're in a human body at a very, very specific time in this human era, and we have a lot to work through. And your cycle as a woman will tell you exactly what needs to come up every single time. Like every month during your fall, which is known as PMS, yeah, thanks. Which is known as PMS. Like that is our biggest gift. That is our biggest gift. And that is where I see women like hate their bodies. And out of hate and rage is when they start to work out the worst, and they are like limiting themselves from eating food and nourishing their bodies. And I'm like, whoa, this is like the total opposite of what happens. So then when we get to the bleeding time, it's like you're hurting, you're in pain, your womb hates you, your womb is like yelling at you like the good divine mother that she should be. Like you are not listening to what I need, right? So these are the things that we get to talk about in this challenge. It's like if you're premenses and you're in PMS and you are emotional wreck and your subconscious is coming to the surface, we get to move through that. We get to use movement as medicine. Like that's a huge pillar of Barre Temple. Like movement is our medicine. And yes, for me, it's Barre. It's Pilates based. It's very alignment based. I will kick your ass in every class, I promise. But every class is different, right? It is like aligned to the season, to the hormones that you're in that time of your that time of your month. And that's the point. Like, can you get to know yourself and understand that the woman that you were last week, you're completely different. You change every single day. You wake up, your hormones are different. And if we do not honor that, we are just falling victims to the distorted patriarchal society that we've been entrained to live as. It's just old. It's an old paradigm that doesn't sustain anything anymore. And so I'm not doing anything. What's being created is a new way of moving through the world. And that's fitness, that's wellness, that's sustainable long-term health for women. All of these things that we're experiencing, the disconnection of our womb, the disconnection of what is happening in that region, which I go deeper into in all everything else outside of Instagram, right? Or like public chats. It's like these things that we're experiencing as women, they can all be healed. Your body is an energetic reflection of what is happening in your mind, in your heart, and in your womb. Period, point blank. If there's something that's off in your body, it's an energetic dysfunction. That's all it is. And so if your body's talking to you, if I'm talking to you and you're listening, then you need to listen to your body as well. And that's what this 60-day challenge also brings in. It's like awareness, presence, like coming back home, coming back to your body. What is your home, right? My home is my body, my womb, the earth, the mother, right? So can we move through the world from a place of being anchored in our well-being in a sustainable fashion so that we love our bodies? We're not mad at our bodies, and then from that place we out of rage work out and eat and deny ourselves nutrition. And it's actually the opposite. It's understanding what part of your cycle you're in and then moving accordingly, and then you will freaking love every season of your month, because you'll understand the medicine, you'll understand the gifts that it is bringing you. So I hope this brings clarity to the 60-day challenge. And I know that even for me, sometimes I feel like I'm talking about Barre, and then I'm talking about divine feminine, and then I'm talking about the quantum realms, and then it's like, what is this girl doing, right? That's how I feel about myself. But it's all coming together, and it's all coming together through this platform of Barre Temple, and understanding that this is what we're here to do. We are bridging realities, we are bridging the above and the below, and the only way to do it is to stay grounded, to keep it practical, to be in your body. Like, holy shit, since arriving back in my body, since arriving in Hawaii and really being grounded, life-changing. Because the spiritual path can really get you out of body. It can really get you disconnected from what we're here to do. So yeah, this is not a weight loss program. I am not trying to force you to lose weight at all. In fact, I'm trying to balance you into your body's weight. And that is different for every woman and man on this planet, because we're all made up energetically different. So the idea is, once you click into what is natural and sustainable for you, your body will regulate itself. I promise. But you have to be anchored and you have to be grounded. If not, then this is when you see a lot of yo-yo patterns with weights, like really gaining weight and then really losing weight. Like, that's not sustainable nor healthy, right? And when we are bringing in higher energies, when we are bringing in the above, we are literally changing the dynamic of our bodies. And just like our breath, when we inhale and exhale, our bodies expand and contract, expand and contract. And the biggest thing I see with women, and I say women because I work with women, I'm sure men live this too, but I can't speak for them. But the biggest thing that we have, like, we are so hard on ourselves, because it's like, I'm working out, I'm eating right, but I don't see the scale go down. It's like, you're not consciously aware of everything else that is happening. And that's the whole point of this program, is to bring you into awareness of what else is happening in your body. What is your cycle telling you? What are the energies telling you? If you're listening to this, you are obviously open and receptive to some kind of different frequency in the background or the forefront of your life. And so this program, this membership, this platform is created to bring everything together, especially at this time where our focus and our energy, wow, we really need to hone in, and we really need to, like, it's like the cartoons. I don't watch too much TV or anything, but like, when you hone in that power ball, that chi energy, and you hone it in and you bring it into your body, and you're like, this is it. This is what we have to do with our energy, especially at this time with so much going on. We're way too scattered. We're way too out of body, whether you're on the spiritual path or not. And so we need to cut all that chatter, cut all that scattered energy, bring it back in. Be present with your body. And what's the easiest way to do that? Connect to your womb. Connect to your cycle. Connect to the heart. Yeah. So again, this is not a weight loss challenge. This is a challenge for you to connect to something so much greater that is running the background of your life every single day. And so what's included, let me just break it down. The 60-day challenge, it's 2 months, separated into 4 weeks each month, and you'll receive the 4 workouts for month 1 and then the 4 workouts for month 2. You'll also have guided meditations, bi-weekly support calls. You obviously have my support via email, and we have a Facebook group too to keep each other accountable. So if this is something that interests you, if you're into it, if you're like ready to take your life and your health to another level, like a conscious, aware level. Again, we're not shredding or kicking our ass because we're mad at our bodies. We are loving our bodies. We are loving this process. We're loving our subconscious. And from that place, we get to move and we get to tap into movement as medicine. Let me know if you have any questions. I would love to keep this conversation going. I think the shift of the way that we approach our workouts is so important as women, especially at this time, because I have been deeply entrenched in the fitness industry, and the way that the fitness industry has created movement to be like just very unhealthy. That's just no longer working anymore. So I'm about rewriting and repatterning all of that in our bodies, in our wombs, most specifically in our brains. Yeah, I think I covered everything. So if there's no questions, we will wrap this up. We start on Monday. So I may push the registration out a little bit because of everything that's been happening. But we do start on Monday, and 60 days together. And it's a preview of what the Barre and Temple membership is about. Community, conscious awareness in the way that we move, work out, anchor into the wisdom of the cycle. And eventually, in my experience, the womb's wisdom will blossom like a flower. It will just hold you, and it will guide your life. And I am seeing women in the program just open up in miraculous ways. And I'm like, yes, this is what it's about. Like, I can't, I'm not going to advertise a program like that, but this is what it's about. When we anchor in, the wisdom of our bodies, of our wombs, literally blossoms. And I'm seeing women get more creative. I'm seeing women, like, their creatrix codes are literally activating. And sometimes the vocabulary doesn't make sense, but it's like their ability to anchor into their wisdom and like express it through art and motion and speaking, like activating the voice and then, activating like on a higher level. It's freaking amazing. So like what happens when you anchor in? You really root to rise, and that's what this program is about. Like, can we start to anchor in a healthy way and still work out and still love our bodies and still love our cycles, which is like the gifts of all gifts, I think, at least for me. And that's what I'm passionate to share, like with every woman. It's like when you tap into your womb and your cycle and you get to create that communication, everything shifts, everything changes. Your entire reality will shift, and that we'll talk about with the Woman Wisdom Mentorship. But I think the fitness platform is a way to make everything really practical, really grounded, just like really simple. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I am excited to hear from you guys. And again, we start on Monday.